This is Stronger Than My Father with Marcus Minis.
Welcome everybody to another episode of Stronger Than My Father podcast. I am your host, Marcus Minis. Many of you may ask, why is this podcast important? This podcast exists because I believe fatherhood matters. And it's time to bring more awareness to fatherhood and to begin to break the cycle of fatherlessness. This show is powered by your donations, your subscriptions, and if you like what you hear today, we would love a 5-star rating. You can see this podcast and other podcasts on our website at strongerthanmyfather.org. I met this young lady at a networking event a couple of weeks ago, and her story really brought me to say, hey, let's sit down, let's have a discussion and bring more awareness to moms, especially single moms, and give that encouragement to them. So I would like to welcome real estate agent, Miss Tenisha Woods. So welcome to the episode.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's not be nervous. So one thing I want to tell our audience a little bit where you're from.
Okay.
And a little bit about your background, and then we're going to dive into life, family, and work.
All right. So I'm Tenisha Woods, home broker by eXp Realty. I am a Nashville native, which is rare these days. We're like the unicorn. Everybody else is a transplant. So I am Nashville native, born and raised here at Baptist Hospital. It's no longer Baptist. I think it's Midtown or something like that.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I'm from Nashville. Grew up at Lake Providence, Missionary Baptist, right down the road. Here my whole life. I have 5 kids. Yeah, that's me in a nutshell. And I am real estate agent. So we go up. Did you go to high school like at White Creek? I went right down the road here at Antioch High School.
Antioch High School. Yes. So it's good. You born and raised here in Nashville. One thing I want to do this podcast is to shed more light on not even the struggles, but how do single moms make it? I want to know how you guys make it, and because I know it's hard when you have to do it by yourself. I know it's very hard. I don't know it personally. It's just things I see. But like I said, having an undergrad in psychology, I'm always learning and how single moms make it work. And then also I want to know some of the pitfalls that you see kids not growing out fathers. What do you see out here? So for me, I have a really great network behind me. My church has always been behind me. Okay. My mother, my friends, family. And then I actually tell my kids all the time, I'm only one person. Yeah. So I try to do as much as I can. I have what I call morning relay race, because my kids they're all different ages. They go to different schools. My son is, and I utilize my kids. I'll just admit to it. I utilize my kids. My son is 22. My bonus daughter, she's 21. And then I have 15, 11, and 4. Yeah. And so they all you got to play a part. You got to help out. We're a team. We're doing this together. And, so when my son was younger, it used to be me, myself, and Isaiah. And that was it. So we would just do whatever we had to do. And I've seen, as far as my personal kids are concerned, they've been through some things. They've seen a lot of things that, kids should not have to see. Okay. That type of thing. Yeah. And went through experiences that when I grew up, I didn't have to. I was raised in a 2-parent household. My parents were married, and I didn't have to see a lot of the things that my kids had to experience. And so, yeah, and I recognize that in a lot of other youth and students and things, and that they deal with things that as grown people we've never had to experience. And I don't know, they're stronger. I think they're stronger because they have to go through it, but at the same time, I'm not equipped. I don't know how to tell them what to do in this situation. So I pray a lot, me and Jesus all day. I know you have to pray a lot, and I think that works. I think prayer works. I'm never going to get on the air and say prayer does not work. But I do also want to say that how important is that father piece you believe kids need today? You growing up the way you see in your kids, what do you think that father piece is? Why do you think it's so important? Why do people think I'm crazy for saying fatherhood matters all the time? 'Cause a lot of people say Mark's crazy, but just statistics and the things that I've seen is just that, you know, when a young man or a girl has her dad, it could possibly make things a little bit better. So please tell me why people don't think Mark's crazy.
You're not crazy.
Okay, cool.
I will start off with that you are not crazy. So with my girls, I noticed in them when their dad was in the picture.
Yeah.
You know, they were more confident in themselves and that sort of thing. So I, as a single mom, I have to play double role and try to double instill that level of confidence back into them that was previously there when their father, now I'm not saying he was the greatest father, but he was there. You know, something about just having a strong male figure there makes as a female feel more confident to know that, you know, somebody has my back. So what I instill into my girls is that, you know, God your father, he's always there, you know. And then with my son, I told him, you know, even Jesus had a stepdaddy.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, that's a real thing. Even Jesus had a stepdaddy. So, you know, just having a strong male figure helps them. My son, he had a really, really great Pastor Marco, and he just moved to Florida. He really had a great, strong spiritual father that helps him. And God, he helped me so much because when he was going through those teenage years, he was rebelling. He was doing the most and the least. And I'm as a woman, I don't know, like, son, what do you need? What do you have going on? It threw me for a loop. But having that strong male figure, that father figure person in his life helped, and it helped me tremendously. And that's why I said, you know, having that community around me really helps. And
that's good to have that community, to have mentors, because that's what I'm really passionate about is, you know, if a mom can say, can you help mentor my son? All I know how to mentor is the way my dad trained me. When I first was mentoring, some people said I was too hard. I was too hard on the boys. And I was just like, life is hard. So, I mean, I ain't going to beat them or anything, but I'm going to make them tough. And I think that's why I think young men more than ever need mentors, especially if you don't have a father piece in the home. So I think, you know, I heard women, this is a controversial topic, so I hope I don't get in trouble. Well, some women say I don't need a man to help raise a child. Is that true or false in your opinion?
I've actually heard that. And I was in my previous relationship. He said, he was like, well, who's going to help you raise your son? I said, well, you know, the men, God will send the men from the church to rise up and to help me with him because I can't do it. And I recognize that. But yeah, I do. I honestly think it takes a man to raise a man. It doesn't have to be that child's father. It doesn't have to be their uncle. I mean, or somebody even blood related to them. But I think that they need that in their life, somebody to show them the way. And I may get in trouble for that. I mean, we both might get in trouble for that. That's why I do
podcasts. They can't control Mark. Yeah.
But yes, I honestly wish that I had, you know, a stronger than my father org in my life when I was raising my son, because me and him grew up together. I had him when I was 16 years old. We grew up together. And he's a good kid. And even though he may not have had the greatest influences throughout life, he still grew up to be, he picked up the best of, you know, different people. Yeah. You know, picked up the best of them, and he works on it. He picked up some bad traits too, but I mean, we all do. We're people.
And I tell people, I wasn't the perfect kid growing up. I think sometimes you see Mark, I wasn't the perfect kid growing up. Out of 4 kids, I was the bad one. Out of 4 kids.
I doubt that.
No, that's the truth. That's not a lie. You listen to my mother's podcast, you will hear what she said. Mark gave her the most problems. Because I was, what kids say, the middle child is always the bad one. I don't know if it's true or not. I just know for me personally, I rebelled against my dad a lot growing up. And it wasn't until MJ was born, it seemed like God brought all that stuff back. And I apologized to my dad because I was like, I shouldn't have done the things I did. But he said, you will realize when you become a dad. You will realize that. So I think I hear a lot of people say, hey, I don't need no man to raise no child and stuff like that. So I don't argue with you. If that's how you feel, I ain't gonna argue with you. I just know that it's a lot easier when that male piece is there. And I know we live in a different society. I clearly know that. We live in a different society. I just want to kind of use this platform to bring more of an awareness, especially in the community, especially African-American community, of more dads to step up. being more men to step up and say, hey, you have a child. Protect that child at all costs. That's what I'm using this for. But I wanted to have that single mom perspective to help me understand more single moms, so I can have more empathy and not feel like I'm bashing single moms. So, because
I'm bashing single moms,
yeah.
But at the same time, like, I do feel that it does work easier when there is a strong male figure in the presence. It just does. Mm-hmm. You know, when there's two incomes, everything makes everything easier. I mean, that's just basic math. But you know, when you don't have it, you have to learn how to survive and how to do it on your own. Mm-hmm. And whereas I do have a community of people behind me, but when I'm at home, it's just me. It's just me and my kids. It's just me and my girls. You know, so I have 4 girls, so it's just me and them. Mm-hmm. So, like I said, I'm just one person.
What gives you the strength to fight on when you get tired? What gives you the strength? Because you're raising girls, you're by yourself. What gives you the strength to keep carrying on? And I know you're going to say God. I clearly understand that. All right. I clearly know that. And I'm not bashing God. After that. Yeah, I need to know that.
After that, it is my kids. Like, my kids push me. They do. They push me. They motivate me because I want them to have that's my mission. My vision is to have my kids to have the very best life. Mm-hmm. And I want to help others, you know, to have that for their children, their families, and that sort of thing. So it is my kids. When I'm having a terrible, tough day, don't get me wrong, sometimes they do the most and the least at the same time, and will have me just like, ooh, Jesus help me. But they do push me. I want wherever I land, whatever becomes my ceiling, I want that to be their floor, like jump from wherever I stop at. And so I try to push harder to make sure that I go further, so that when they grow up, they have to start wherever I stopped. Yeah. And so you got to already be here. Mm-hmm. Whereas I may have started out here. You got to start off here. You can't just start where I did. So, yeah.
And I think kids watch you. Kids watch everything you do. And I think they watch when you're in relationships. They watch every little thing you do. What are the times where you have a talk with them about life? Because now we live in an era where social media is everything. Every child wants a cell phone. And what they're watching. What are you doing to protect your daughters from what's going on with social media and everything right now?
So my kids are out there on social media. They love their TikToks, but they know, I'm like, I'm completely 100% real and very open with my kids. Okay. And it may be a little taboo, but I tell my kids absolutely everything from, I don't care if it's from budgeting. They watch me do everything. When I just purchased my first home. Yeah, congratulations. Back in January.
Congratulations.
So, thank you. I took my kids to the closing table. Mm-hmm. They were right there. They sat down at the closing table. My daughter, we took a picture. My daughter was like, she's not smiling. She's the only one not smiling in the picture. She's like, you don't smile when you're doing big business. That's not what we do. We doing real business right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm very open with my kids about my faults. Yeah. I don't hide them from them because I need them to understand I'm a real person too. Yeah. And I like that. So that there are some people out there that aren't real people. You get out there and you gotta pay attention. Yeah. And so we have real conversations. When I say real conversations, we have real conversations. And sometimes I gotta take a step back and be like, okay, they just shared some stuff with me, just dropped a whole bomb on me. I wasn't ready for that. But they're open to have those type of conversations with me because when we have conversations that, you may think, that's not really important. I listen to them on the things that I don't feel, if they want to tell me about a purple sky moon, something one day, it is not, and I'm bored with the conversation, but I listen and I'm attentive to it so that they'll talk to me. And that's the really important part, is that you want your kids to make sure that they are talking to you on a regular basis about any and everything. And
that's important because I've done other podcasts where they said, you want to have a relationship with your children, like they can talk. I remember when I was in Antioch Middle a couple of weeks ago, these kids bashed me because my sons wasn't on social media. And they said, I was afraid to ask how many kids was on TikTok. I really was. Because I'm 46, so I'm thinking parents ain't putting their kids on social media. And I'm like, my kids don't need to be on social media. It was like, what about their friends? What about his friends? He can't go see his friends. I'm like, his friends at home. And so I just told them the truth in the classroom, because the girl, I ain't bashing the girls.
I'm not the girls.
The girls came at me. The guys didn't say nothing, but the girls was just going off on me. And I was like, I need to protect myself. I need to defend myself. And I says, why do you need to do this? Why do you need to do this and that? And we went back and forth. And these are 8th graders. Now, we weren't arguing. We just had like that tough debate. Right. But you as a parent, do you watch what your kids doing on every social media? Do you got kids that like to sneak and do this and that? So what are you doing? And I asked this question already, but just, what are you watching and stuff like that on social media?
So now you're going to get me in trouble.
I ain't going to get you. I don't want to get you in trouble.
My kids.
Yeah.
I watch my kids on social media.
Okay.
But I do know that my kids are very much like me. Okay. When I was younger. And like I said, I had my son when I was 16. Okay. So that part. So I may have other people watching my kids and watching the things that they do, and they report back. And I'm not even gonna lie, my kids pretty much know that, but they don't know who you done accepted that's a catfish, baby. That's mama watching. I'm watching Hawkeye, and their older siblings, they watch, and they'll tell me, hey, get your daughter. My son he thinks he's everybody's father. He thinks, mine included. So I'm a single mom. I'm single. But he thinks he's my father. And he thinks he's everybody's dad. So he watches what they put out there, the content that they're putting out there, and making sure that they're respectful of themselves. And I teach my girls to be respectful of yourselves. I teach my son, be respectful of these females. And that sort of thing. So I watch, and I will tell you, when I was a kid, and as far as any kids go, when you restrict so much, they gonna either do it at school when you can't, and teachers will tell you, principals will tell you, they'll do it at school because they can't do it at home. Yeah, my son included, he did the same thing. They'll do it at school because they can't do it at home, or they will sneak and do it some other kind of way. Their friends will slide them a phone that has the TikTok on it already, the Instagram. My daughter just taught me how to post on Instagram the other day. I didn't even know.
I don't even know how to combat that question about restrictions, because I grew up in a box with my parents. When I turned 18, they said, you're going to see things that we didn't teach you. And it's, you make your bed, you sleep in it. You go out here and have some babies, you got to raise and take care of them. If you can't wait till you get married and have kids, like my mom and dad said, us, like when I turned 18, they just like dumped everything on me at one time. So when you hear restrictions, that's what I was. We were restricted. We couldn't do this. I didn't know what clubbing was. Same. I didn't know to go to the club. But when I turned 18, that wasn't desired. That's just me personally. But I want to be sure. But you're right. I think now in this social media age, I want to protect my son as long as I can. If my son said, if they say, hey, daddy, I want Instagram, I'm like, what are you going to use it for? Because like you said, you got people out here looking at your children. And crazy society is, I'm a protector. That's who I am. My job is to protect 3 people in that house. Wife and 2 boys. That's my job. Is to protect them at all costs. But that's from social media and stuff like that. I just don't want my kids around that, and thankful my son at 13 doesn't come at me and say, Dad, I need a TikTok. I need this. I need that. Cause I'll probably go off on him. I'm going to go, you don't need it. You need to focus on your grades. Make sure you get A's and B's and focus. That's what's going to help you in life. And that's why I told them kids at Antioch Middle, I said, that's what's going to help you in life. Cause we can't get mad if you got kids in Williamson County and they're out here doing, getting good grades and getting good jobs, and you over here struggling. That's my position, but I could be wrong. But I just know that I want to try to protect you as long as I can to give you the tools you need for success. I understand the TikTok videos. If you need to, I need it for business, for podcasting and stuff. But if I don't need it, I'm not going to make no crazy. But I probably would have wanted that if I was my kid's age when that came out. If I was 13, I probably would have pressured my parents into that. I clearly know that. If this stuff was around when I grew up. But now as a 46-year-old dad, I'm like, man, you don't need this, because I've seen the damage it has done. That's what I've seen. It is like, kind of like when I watched King Richard. Let me say that, for example. King Richard was trying to protect Venus and Serena till he couldn't just really protect them anymore. And that was he wanted to protect them, be sure they could always be safe. So that's kind of me on my end. But I always just ask parents about social media. Do they allow their kids to be on different things? And I don't judge. I don't judge. If you're a parent and you feel like your children is mature enough to handle social media, go ahead.
Train up a child, though. You train up the child in the way they should go. When they get older, they won't follow. So the thing is that I train my kids up.
Yeah.
And I can only, hope and pray that they will follow the things. I was a very, very, very sheltered child.
Okay.
Very sheltered child.
Okay.
Like I said, I grew up, right here in the city. Grew up going to Lake Providence. Mm-hmm. The only place that we went was to school. We went to church. And we went to dance at maybe an auntie or cousin house or something. Yeah. And that was it. Yeah. And then I went to private school. I went to Lighthouse Christian.
Lighthouse, okay.
So I went to private school until the 8th grade. Mm-hmm. In the 9th grade, my parents sent me to Antioch High School. Mm-hmm. And that's a little bit different of a situation. Yeah. It was exposed to a lot of things. And, nobody told me, they didn't have that conversation with me. But it was kind of like you at 18, where it's all slammed down on you at 18. Yeah. That, hey, this is what the world really looks like. I just prepare my kids, throughout life, that this is what the world looks like throughout life, so that when they get to that point, mm-hmm. and even I'm preparing my daughter, because my brand name is Woods Way Home. So mm-hmm. I'm preparing my daughter right now for when you get, like I said, I want you to be able to jump from where I stop at. When you get older, here, you can go in and get your license, you get your followers up, be able to do this, that, and the other. Because I had a meeting with someone, and we were discussing that what I call wonderful people. I said, the wonderful community, their kids, they get their driver's license at 16. Mm-hmm. They get their realtor's license at 18, regardless if they are using it for business or not. And then, when they go to college, they sell 1 or 2 houses here and there. Yeah. And whereas we struggling, we doing working 2 jobs, we RAs in the building, and we doing this, that, and we got to keep our grades up. Yeah. And then we typically drop out. Yeah. It is what it is.
Well, I struggled in college, so when you're talking about that's just the truth.
I went back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. I actually graduated when I was pregnant with my fourth child. So I was like 8 months pregnant, and I had on like my gown, and I walked the stage.
But at least you made it.
I had to.
Whoa!
I had to make it, because again, I want my kids to jump from where I stopped. And if I stop at high school, my son's father, rest his soul, didn't graduate. Mm-hmm. So I'm from high school. So I had to be sure that I had my high school diploma, so that my son, one of my parents at least got to high school. You got to at least make it this far, son. Yeah. And so with my girls, I'm like, and my son now, I'm like, I have to go to college. Mm-hmm. I have to get this degree so that y'all can jump from where. And I'm not one of those parents that say you have to go to college.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You gotta go.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Because it's not for everybody.
I agree with that.
Just find your trade. It's not for everybody.
I say find your purpose. I say if you find your purpose of living, it's so easy. Once I found that, I took off for college.
There you go.
Did I need a master's? Probably not. I just wanted it because it sounded good. But then when they see that bill from Trevecca, it ain't fun to pay for it.
My stuff is between Biden and Jesus now. I'm not even gonna lie to you. My stuff is between Biden and Jesus.
That's a different angle. But since you talk about entrepreneurship, let's talk about you're going into real estate. What made you decide you want to go into real estate and sell houses? And what made you decide you want to do that?
So I was in a long, very, very long relationship. Wasn't the greatest relationship. Then some things happened, and we separated. And what I found that in the Nashville community, there's not really a whole lot of options for someone in a domestic violence situation. I also found out that the majority of women, the reason why they go back to domestic violence situations, because they don't have anywhere to go, and they're embarrassed. They don't want to go to their family house. Nashville, there was only one domestic violence shelter here. Mm-hmm. Everything else, and they're all full, and they feel like they're all full. And I'm not gonna lie, it felt like prison. So I said, "There's got to be better." Yeah. My ex told me I would never have my dreams to come true.
Wow, and you should never do that.
That pushed me even further. So I decided to make better choices and better decisions. And I said, you know what? I want to be able to provide a better life for other women so they don't have to do this. I said, Lord, how am I going to do that? And he said, okay, get your real estate license. And that helped me to be able to purchase the home for me and my kids. And as a single mom, like, real estate is not easy money. Not even gonna lie to you. It's not. People think it is. It's not easy money, but it's bigger money. Yeah. You know, and that gave me the, the push to be able to purchase the home for our kids. And so I don't know, in the real estate world, in the community, and making that generational wealth for our kids, for my kids, for our family. And that's just something that we don't do right now. My current mission is to pay my house off because I don't have debt. It's outside of my house. And like, again, my student loans are between Biden and Jesus. They're not, they are above me now. Yeah. So, that's my goal. Yeah. And I just really want to see other women to be able to strive to have, a home for their kids. Sitting at that table, at that closing table, was everything to me and everything to my kids. Like, but when we were going through it, we budgeted together. We ate noodles together, and I say this, as single moms, we have to be the ones to show our kids something better, because they're not always going to see that, and the world's not going to treat them that way. The world's not going to show them that. We have to be able to show them something better and to be able to show them something more than just renting and paying somebody else's mortgage.
Amen to that. I see that. And that's why I want you on the podcast. You educating me, because like I said, I don't know what a lot of single women go through. And I think, having the empathy, I wanted to learn. I think you have the mindset to grind. I think when somebody tell you can't do it, it's going to trigger you and say, I'm going to prove you wrong. That's what I do. Don't tell me I can't do it, and then I'll prove you wrong. But I think one thing that I'm really happy about is that you did get your real estate license and you are selling homes. With the market going right now, as we wrap this podcast up, how is the housing market? Is it ever going to go down on price, or are we going to be stuck paying these high houses going to cost this much, twice what it is right now?
Things I will say, they always go up. Yeah, they always go down. People say it's all, it's either a buyer's market or seller's market. It's never a buyer or seller's market. It's always a broker's market. I
didn't know that.
It's always a broker's market. Yeah, and so I probably get in trouble for that, but still, it just is what it is. But yeah, so the housing market, it is changing. Yeah, if you own something right now, you may want to go ahead and capitalize on this last little bit of, people buying and having 15, offers per house and that sort of thing. And if you want to buy something, just wait a little snatch, but honestly, in all honesty, I wouldn't wait too long
to go buy a house right now.
To go buy a house. I wouldn't wait too long to go buy a house, because the housing market, whereas they may not get 15 offers, that price ain't coming down. Gas will never be 99 cents again. God's not making any new land. So it's always
gas got to come back down. I hope. I talked to one of my podcasts today. He was like, Mark, you used to it.
It will never be 99 cents again.
I know it won't be 99. It's got to at least get down to at least $2.50 or $3. At least $3.50.
We gonna keep praying on that. We gonna say a whole wish and a prayer and throw some holy water on it.
They need to do something, because at $4, when I go to a certain place, I'm paying $5 for gas. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. $5 for some gas.
Hey, that's why people work at home now. That's why we work at home when we do the things that we do.
It's a different change. So, as we wrap this up, it's great that you are a strong, independent Black woman. You're making the best of what you have right now, which is great. I think that's kind of why I want you on the podcast. When we met at the event, and you was like, "Hey, I'm a real estate agent," you had that passion. I was like, "All right, I didn't get on the mic." What would you say as we wrap this up, what would you say to any single woman that could possibly be struggling raising kids? What would be your sound advice for them?
My sound advice for them is, hey, keep on going, sis. Learn how to budget, learn how to save. If you spending $10 a day, we can all blow $10 a day. I can blow $10 a day at Dollar Tree, at McDonald's, wherever. If you can blow $10 a day, you can save $300 a month. Don't get into a place where you are like, okay, I can buy a house with down payment assistance, because that may not always be there. Don't think on that and just depend on that. Depend on yourself, because that's what you've always had. You've always had you've always had God. Depend on yourself, and go from there. I will also say a lot of times as single moms, we always immediately think that we're not going to be able to get qualified. You know, unfortunately in our community, we think that, you know, we'll get denied. And so we never apply. So you automatically are denied because you never apply, and you just continue to pay rent. I would say go ahead and apply. Go ahead and there are programs out there. Contact me. There are programs out there that can help you to budget. I've went through them myself. You know, I can show you the easier way because I took the long route there. I wanted a home for 15 years, and I took the long route to get there, but I made it there, and I can show you the easier way. But there are programs out there that will help you to budget, help you to learn how to save, help you to get to where you need to go.
Well, I think your story is amazing. I think you did a great job of being on the podcast. Where can people reach out to you if they need real estate advice or advice on buying a home?
You can contact me at woodswayhome.com. I can follow me on all social media under that same tag, Woodsway Home. I'm Tenisha Woods. You can call me at 615-425-9385. That is my personal number. I will answer for you every time.
Well, hey, let's support her. If you need a house, this is somebody you can go to for real estate advice and real estate help. And I think your story is amazing. So keep up the good work. Keep selling them houses. And thank you for your time coming out on this beautiful Saturday to do a podcast with me.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us for another episode of Stronger My Father podcast. This show is powered by your donations, subscriptions, and if you like what you hear, love a 5-star rating.